This is QTV Nightly News coming to you from our studios on Kairaba Avenue, and I am Ashma Uba. Thanks for joining us here at the main news headlines. Following a recess, the Gambia's National Assembly of the Gambia resumed sitting on Monday for the second ordinary session in the 2024 legislative year. Alliance Française and the French Embassy launched the We Together for Women's Empowerment, promoting women's expression through arts, culture, debate and entrepreneurship project. Stakeholders have gathered to validate the National Wildfire Management Strategic Document to devise domestic frameworks to cope wildfires. The National Assembly conceded and approved the first ever self-regulatory code of conduct for Gambia's National Assembly members. In international news, Rwanda heads to the polls in July in an election widely expected to be won by the incumbent Paul Kagame, which will secure him a fourth term in office. And in sports news, Gina Maria Mbas-Biteye won gold medal in the women's 100 meters final at the African Seniors Athletic Champions in Douala, Cameroon on Saturday. Now, those are other stories coming up. Do stay tuned. Thank you for staying with us. Now, following a recess, the Gambia's National Assembly of the Gambia resumed sitting on Monday for the second ordinary session in the 2024 legislative year, with the first reading of several bills for enactment. Alusise reports.
Let thy blessing descend upon us here in this house assembled. Grant us that we may treat and consider all matters that shall come under our deliberations in so just and faithful a manner, promote thy honor and glory, to advance the peace, prosperity, and welfare of this country.
Members return to continue their parliamentary functions as lawmakers. At the start of the session, which is scheduled to last from 24 June to 24 July 2024, Fabakary Tombong Jatta, Speaker of the Parliament, applauded the deputies, the clerk, and National Assembly staff for their commitment to national duty. He congratulated the Gambia for the successful hosting of the OIC Summit and President Barrow for assuming the OIC chairmanship. He revealed the President has assented to some of the bills passed.
One is the Rent Amendment Act 2024, 2, Special Prosecutors Office Act 2024, and 3, Special Accountability Mechanism Act 2024. Honorable members, as we begin the rainy season, I take this opportunity to extend sincere best wishes to our dedicated farmers across the nation. It is often said that agriculture is the backbone of our economy.
Speaker Jatta said the President will deliver the 2024 State of the Nation address on Thursday, 27 June, as the Constitution mandates. The Speaker's remarks and a review of the records of the last sitting of the first ordinary session with amendments were followed by the presentation of copies of bills for the first reading to the Clerk of the National Assembly, Momodu ACC, by Dauda A. Jallo, Attorney General and Minister of Justice, Professor Per Gomez, Minister of Higher Education, Research, Science and Technology, and Honorable Yaya Menteng Sanyang, Member for Latrikunda Sabeji, and Chairperson of the Subsidiary Legislation Committee, respectively. The bills are National Security Council Bill 2024, Judicial Officers Remuneration and Other Entitlement Bill 2024, Vetting Bill 2024, National Research and Innovation Fund Bill 2024, the Gambia Tertiary and Higher Education Trust Fund Bill 2024, Students Revolving Loan Scheme Bill 2024, and Interpretation Amendment Bill 2024. The bills are scheduled for second reading next month, when the movers will be required to read out the objectives of their respective bills to the Parliament. Reporting for QTV News, I am Aliou Cisse.
Alliance Française and the French Embassy launched the We Together for Women's Empowerment, promoting women's expression through arts, culture, debate and entrepreneurship project. This initiative, a leveraging of arts and culture, aims to have a profound impact on gender equality and women's empowerment. Lena Igwenyiba reports.
The Women's Empowerment Project is a unique initiative designed to promote gender equality and women's empowerment through arts and culture as means of expression and awareness. Alliance Française, with support from the French Embassy, will partner with local organizations to achieve these goals. Justine Gushul-Bauer, Director of Alliance Française Banjul, highlighted that this initiative is rooted in the rich French tradition of using arts movement, literature, cinema, music and theatre as powerful tools for communication and societal reflection.
This project has been in our mind since more than a year. We worked a lot to bring this project on the field, and it's actually also why we are here. It's also to tighten our links, but also to bring the French touch and the French ideas, because yes, in France we are really powerful, cultural and artistic society, and for us it's really important to bring that also towards the Gambia and to share it.
Priscilla Yagos-Tise, Senior Technical Advisor at Women and Victims Empowerment, WAVE, Mohamed Haidara, President of Amnesty KM Group, and Fatou Balde, founder of Women in Liberation and Leadership, WIL, all implementing partners of the project, spoke about the various projects they will undertake.
The Odyssey program, which is really a healing, learning and program which we would hold, and it would be part of that would be also film screening as well as a bonfire event. And that is something which we have done before in other places, and we have seen that the response has been good. It has pulled people together, and it's also helped them to be able to sit and talk one with another so that they can discuss the issues of concern to them.
The FGM issue, we are also planning on to train at least 25 National Assembly members, because we felt like these are decision makers, so we need to anchor on those ones and have them train. And even though we also have a focus whereby we engage the community to have a training with them, because the more people are educated to understand the health complication, it also makes the work easier for all of us.
Part of our project, we will be targeting 3 schools where we'll be engaging young people, both men and women, because we believe that in order to really address sexual and gender-based violence, it shouldn't just be looked at as a women's issue. Both men and women, we need he for she's, we need male role models that communities can see joining the fight against sexual and gender-based violence.
The project, expected to conclude in March 2025, will include community dialogues and debates, students' ambassador clubs, artistic residences, visual art and advocacy, performing arts and cinema, and training and skills development. Through these various artistic mediums, the project aims to raise awareness about gender issues, challenge stereotypes, and promote inclusive narratives. Reporting for KTV News, I am Lena Igwanyiba.
As stakeholders gathered to validate the National Wildfire Management Strategic Document, senior government officials and partners on Monday called the full implementation of all domestic frameworks to help cope wildfires, especially in rural farming communities. And Sumana Isonyasi tells us more.
With 2,063 fire alerts recorded between June 2021 and June 2024, this review and validation of the National Wildlife Management Strategy is perhaps the strongest indication by government of its determination to address what the Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Environment describes as an escalation through the institution of a strong policy document to complement other domestic instruments already being implemented. At this 2-day stakeholder convergence, officials of the EBA large-scale ecosystem-based adaptation project in the Gambia, senior Ministry of Environment officials and international partners intensify calls for urgent and sustainable action to curb wildfires in the Gambia. Ibrahim Jawara, Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Environment, and Dr. Malanding Jaite, EBA Project Manager, called on stakeholders to thoroughly review the document and ensure its full implementation once validated, and went on to highlight how the strategy caters for effective forest restoration.
Climate change and human activities are primary drivers of the increasing frequency and intensity of wildfires. As temperatures rise and rainfall patterns become more erratic, the conditions for wildfires become more favorable. It is imperative that our strategy integrates climate adaptation measures to enhance our resilience.
The burning is happening outside designated forest parks, designated community forests. In fact, it is often in our old agricultural fields, even in our agricultural fields nowadays. By December nowadays, almost everywhere is dry. Fires don't stop.
Speaking on the impact of wildfire on the livelihoods of affected communities, particularly farming communities, Anifa Kassam, UNEP Tax Manager, Dr. Peter Minang, ICRAF Africa Director, and Dr. Mohamed Jaite, Director of the Department of Forestry at the Ministry of Environment, also joined calls for the full implementation of all domestic instruments, such as the National Wildfire Management Strategy that seek to curtail wildfires in the Gambia.
What needs to change, you understand the country better, you understand the context much better, and so what you actually put into that document today will actually make it a much better document. But most importantly, what we agree on in terms of how we actually make sure that we implement this document going forward through this validation process would be extremely, extremely important.
Involving the communities in the management of these forests, really helped us at least to put, a control in some of the areas. But our biggest threat, and the one that is giving us the problem, is the forest fires. So if at all we can all put our heads and hands together and ensure that, this problem is solved or is cut or is reduced, then that would help us a lot to ensure that at least our gains are being consolidated and then we can expand to other areas.
Wildfires can be attributed to common activities such as welding, grinding, faulty machinery, and discarded cigarettes, among others, that causes accidental ignition and its spread. Though the Gambia registers fewer incidents of wildfires compared to other countries on the continent and beyond, recent reports of an increase in wildfires, especially in the past 2 years, necessitated urgent action, which brought about the development of this national framework that is set to be validated in the next 2 days, with a view to curbing wildfires in the country. Ansumane Sonyasi for KTV News.
That story by Ansumane Sonyasi will take us to a commercial break, but when we return, we have more local, international, as well as sports news stories for you. Do stay tuned.
The future is now with QCell's 5G network. Experience speeds like never before with our new 5G Rocket Fixed Internet plan. Get speeds from 10 Mbps to 100 Mbps. Your 5G-enabled devices. Walk into QCell headquarters to get one of our 5G routers and experience the true feeling of 5G. Only with QCell. QCell brings you the future. Tech, innovation, incredible speed. The future is now. For more information, call our customer care on 111. QCell, Sunyapus. We innovate, others follow. Terms and conditions apply.
Welcome back. If you're just tuning in, you're watching QTV News, and I'm Ashmauba. Now, monitoring and ensuring proper conduct of parliamentarians is crucial for maintaining public trust in democratic institutions. On Monday, the National Assembly of the Gambia considered and approved the first ever self-regulatory code of conduct for National Assembly members of the Gambia. Alitise was there, and this is his report.
The Code of Conduct is developed by the National Assembly with the support of the Commonwealth Parliamentary Association and International IDEA. In addition to existing standing orders regulating the Parliament, this will further serve to regulate the conduct of MPs in and out of the National Assembly. It is expected to improve parliamentary standards, increase public trust in the institution, and strengthen a culture of honesty and ethical governance. Honorable Alaji S. Dabo of Brikama North and Vice Chairperson of the Privilege and Ethics Committee explain what makes the Code of Conduct relevant and timely.
I must reiterate that the importance of Code of Conduct for parliamentarians cannot be oversighted or overlooked in any parliamentary democracy, as it helps to set the standards of behavior expected of all persons at the parliamentary workplace.
The draft Code of Conduct was recently reviewed and validated at a training session organized by the Office of the Clerk with the support of International IDEA under the EU's support to consolidation of democratic dispensation in the Gambia. It frowns on any act that undermines the integrity of the Parliament, such as taking bribes to promote an agenda. Members including Seni Jawara of Lower Salum, Yaya Menteng Sanyang of Latrikunda Sabiji, Abdullah Sise of Oli Yundum, Modlamin Bah of Banjul North, Bilaji Tunkara of Kantora, and nominated member Fatimata Jawara, respectively, welcomed the Code of Conduct while urging colleagues to always remember the instrument.
Sometimes it's a disgrace where when proceedings is on, the entire chamber is empty. If they only come forward when there is a voting time.
This regulates us even outside the National Assembly. We are regulated even outside the National Assembly. Our conduct outside the National Assembly is regulated by the instrument. So I will urge honorable members that let's be very careful what we do outside.
We have to also live to expectations as honorable members of parliament. So I want to also congratulate and salute the entire membership here that we were about to make history in the making for the 6th legislature, for the first of its kind since independence, having such initiative that we want to make sure that to assess ourselves, hold ourselves accountable to our electorates, the very people that really vote us in here.
In order for anybody to respect this institution, it must start from us as members of parliament. If we respect this institution and respect each other as colleagues, everybody will respect the institution.
Integrity cannot be compromised. And this is indeed a very good document that will guide us to be more functional in whatever responsibility we have in parliament.
Jenaba Fai, country coordinator of International IDEA, whose office played a critical role in the development of the Code of Conduct, has this to say.
We're very happy that the document has been adopted by the National Assembly, and we're looking forward to its full implementation, and it will go a long way in strengthening democracy in the Gambia and as well the works of the National Assembly. So on behalf of International IDEA, we're very happy that the National Assembly members have passed the document.
The roles of National Assembly members are representation, legislation, and performing oversight functions. As such, their conduct has a direct impact on the Assembly. Now it is hoped the Code of Conduct is enforced to the fullest without bias or as a tool for witch hunt. Reporting for QTV News, I am Aliu Sise.
The Minister of Higher Education has outlined his ministry's programs and projects to transform the Gambia's higher and tertiary education sector. With several proposed and ongoing projects, the Higher Education Ministry is poised to diversify and expand access to tertiary and higher education for human capital development. Here's Mudu Laminchoy.
The University of the Gambia is Gambia's highest institute of learning, which over the years has seen a major facelift after decades of limited resources. Now, at least 2/3 of the university are accommodated at a new state-of-the-art campus in Faraba, with 4 schools and a library among the new facilities. Plans are underway for the construction of a dormitory sponsored by MRC Holland Foundation.
This is just lot 1. We haven't done. We are also planning to have lot 2. And lot 2 is the Chancery Building, the Faculty of Law, the School of Agriculture and Environmental Sciences, and other external works.
As the ministry diversifies the tertiary and higher education, the former Gambia Technical Training Institute has been transformed into a new university known as the University of Applied Sciences, Engineering and Technology, USET. The university has 3 components, namely College of Science and Engineering, Institute for Technical Training, Institute for Innovation and Entrepreneurship. These USET institutes have campuses in every region, some of which are already in operation.
By the way, end of this year, the first cohort of engineers will graduate, will complete, which means that we will be making history. It means since 1965, since we got independence, this will be the first time we will produce homegrown engineers. We now understand the technical problem we are having and so on. These road networks and all, most of them are non-Gambians. I keep on saying that we have a technical problem, and the technical problem must have a solution, and the solution is a system of containment.
Following cabinet approval, the Gambia College is to be transformed into a university of education for teacher training in several academic disciplines.
Gambia College will be upgraded into University of Education, and UTG School of Education will also be transferred to the Gambia College. They form, all these 2 institutions will form now the new University of Education, so that we all have one public university of education. Right now, as I'm talking to you, we left the team that is working on the implementation. They are given only 4 months now to now work on the roadmap, so that immediately after that, then we'll now start the implementation.
Another tertiary institution that has been transformed into a university is the Management Development Institute in Kanifing. which is now the University of Civil Service, where students will be trained professionally to respond to the capacity gaps in Gambia's civil service.
We will be having some programs that will help really respond to the professionalization of the civil service. You've been hearing about the civil service transformation and so on. So that to be done, you need also to have an academic institution that will help really support that with the professional training.
Higher education is a fundamental pillar in personal development, economic, technological, and social change. By transforming this sector, the Gambia is developing a problem-solving system for answers to its development goals. Mahmoud Lamin, Choy QTV News.
Next up, we have international news in a moment. Rwanda heads to the polls in July in an election to choose a president. All indications are that the incumbent Paul Kagame will secure a fourth term in office. Julian Jai has the latest.
Political campaigns for July general election began on Saturday, with the incumbent president Paul Kagame holding 2 rallies in northern Rwanda over the weekend. Paul Kagame served as president of Rwanda since 1994, when his then rebel group, the Rwanda Patriotic Front, seized power at the end of the genocide directed at members of the Tutsi ethnic group. He won the last presidential election in 2017 with nearly 99% of the vote. Mr. Kagame will face 2 other politicians, Frank Habineza of the Democratic Green Party and Philippe Umpeyimana, in the race to become president. Habineza ran during the last presidential race and received less than 2% of the votes. Undeterred by the setback, the Green Party continued its political efforts and participated in the 2018 parliamentary elections, securing 2 seats. Meanwhile, Philippe Umpeyimana is running for president for the second time. He first ran in 2017, getting 0.72% of the total votes. Many international political analysts do not consider either man as posing a significant political threat to Paul Kagame. Although others had been expected to contest, the 3 men are the only ones cleared by the Electoral Commission to contest. Kagame's 2 opponents held much smaller campaign rallies of the weekend. Habineza began his campaign in the Gasabo district of Kigali, the capital of Rwanda, where he addressed supporters, while Umpeyimana launched his campaign in eastern Rwanda's Kirehe district. Diane Rugira, an outspoken critic of Mr. Kagame, was banned from standing in next month's presidential election. The Electoral Commission said Ms. Rugira had failed to provide the correct documentation to show she had no criminal record and had not shown she had enough support nationwide to stand. The rules state that a candidate must file a form with a specified number of supporters in each region of the country, which she failed to provide. Ms. Rugira, who was also disqualified from the 2017 poll, dismissed these reasons, saying she had been cheated out of her right to campaign. Rwandans will head to the polls on the 15th of July to elect their next president and lawmakers. Anything less than a huge win, as usual for Kagame, will be the biggest electoral shock ever in African politics. For QTV News, I am Julden Jai.
From international, let's now take a look at some exciting sports news. Gina Mariam Bass Biteye won gold in the women's 100 meters final in a time of 11.14 seconds at the African Seniors Athletics Champions in Douala, Cameroon on Saturday. Our sports reporter Mamadou Gajaga was monitoring and he has the latest.
African Games champion Gina Mariam Bass Biteye of the Gambia won the women's 100 meters final, taking home the gold medal in a timing of 11.14 seconds. In the highly competitive African Seniors Athletics Championship held in Douala, Cameroon. Two of the athletes expected to give her a close run, Côte d'Ivoire's Marie-Josée Talou, the African record holder for the distance, and Nigeria's Favour Ofili, failed to make it to the start line of their respective semi-finals despite having comfortably won their heats. Bas Biteye is gradually improving her performance in the sprint as she prepares for the Paris Olympic Games. Gina Bas Biteye ran the second fastest time for an African woman earlier this month at the Rwanda Diamond League meeting in Stockholm, becoming the first Gambian sprinter to win such a prestigious competition. After the race, Gina told World Athletics Media her goal is to reach the Paris Olympic final.
You've been racing very well this season. How did the conditions today compare to the races earlier?
Yeah, today I would say it's a wonderful weather in Stockholm here. Yeah. Because I have been here 2 times. The weather wasn't good, but today it's really good. And my performance this year, yes, we really work hard so that I will do better. Yeah.
And how are you preparing for Paris going on?
Yeah, I have to go back, close my season at the moment, so go back and train towards the preparation Paris. I want to be among the finalists this year.
Yeah, and are you planning on racing just the 100 or the 200 as well?
The both.
The both?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, thank you very much for your time today.
Thank
Congratulations.
You. Thank you.
This has been a fantastic year for Gina Mariam Bas Biteye after winning double gold medals in Ghana at the African Games. She again won in Kenya, the Czech Republic, France, Sweden, and her latest in Cameroon. Although some US and Caribbean athletes have run faster, Bas Biteye goes into the Paris Olympics in great form and in high spirits. Mamudu Gajaga, QTV News.
Congratulations, Gina. Well, that's all we have, but before we go, a recap of women news headlines. Following a recess of the Gambia's National Assembly of the Gambia resumed sittings on Monday for the second ordinary session in the 2024 legislative year. Alliance Française and the French Embassy launched the We Together for Women's Empowerment, promoting women's expression through arts, culture, debate and entrepreneurship project. Stakeholders have gathered to validate the National Wildfire Management Strategic Document to revise domestic frameworks to cope wildfires. The National Assembly considered and approved the first self-regulatory code of conduct for Gambia's National Assembly members. In international news, Rwanda heads to the polls in July in an election widely expected to be won by incumbent Paul Kagame, which will secure him a 4th term in office. And in sports news, Gina Mariam Bas Biteye won gold in the women's 100 meters final at the African Senior Athletics Champions in Douala, Cameroon on Saturday. That's all we have for you in this news bulletin. Join us again at 10 p.m. for more news. Thanks for watching.